Hi, my name is Jennifer. Thanks for tuning in. This is my 5th episode on my YouTube sewing channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little different than I've done in my past videos. We are going to be recovering a boat cushion with vinyl, and I'm excited to show you some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. But first, I'm going to get my skate on, so I'll see you soon. Thanks.
Everywhere I go, beauty finds its way in the little things of every day. A fleeting smile.
Here's your supply list. I start by removing all the staples. This staple puller makes things much easier. I also use the needle nose pliers to get the pesky staples out that don't want to come out. It's a dirty job, it's moldy and yucky, but somebody's got to do it. I like to clean it up a little bit. I just use some water and Dawn dish detergent, get it nice and clean. Now we can make a pattern for the cover. I use a Sharpie, and I do hold the pen at a slight angle out so I can get my selvage and go around the whole cushion. Now we'll measure for the band. So I'm measuring the depth, and it's about 3.5 inches. So I'm going to cut a band that is 5 inches wide. Next, we'll measure around the cushion to see how long to make the band. And once you get your measurement, add 1 inch for the seam allowance. My measurement was 5 inches by 104 inches. I like to cut one long band if possible. That way you only have one seam to deal with. Time to start sewing. I put my seam on one of the side edges, and I don't sew the band together at first. I like to sew it on and then create the seam because the vinyl does stretch a little bit. I also do clip the corners a little bit around just to make it easier to get around that curve. I'm using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Sew your side seam together. Add a top stitch on the seam that you just created. Finish attaching your band to the cover. Now we're going to do a top stitch around the band. I use my presser foot as a guide, and you can do this on your home sewing machine, but you will not get the nice long top stitch. Place your cushion into the cover that you just made and make sure all the seams line up and get it nice and straight. Make sure you change out your staples to the stainless steel staples. You don't want the staples rusting and your cover falling off. Give the vinyl a slight tug as you're stapling, and around the corners you want to make little pleats and try and make it smooth and no puckers on the band. After I finished, I realized I should have replaced the foam, because no matter how nicely you stitch up your cover, if your foam is shrunken and distorted, it will not fill out the cover properly. Cut your excess fabric off. Now we'll add the Hidem GIMP. I get this from sailrite.com. They're an awesome website. They're very helpful if you have any questions. And this is where I get my marine vinyl and my sewing supplies. This GIMP will cover all your messy staples and leave a nice clean finish on the back of your cushion.